the thing about Bay of Pigs and the Cubans, the Bay of Pigs invasion is the key to understanding the whole latter part of the 20th century politics in the United States, the Cold War, because the alliance between the CIA and the Cubans rears its head constantly throughout the latter part of the 20th century. The Watergate burglary, 5 out of 7 of the burglars were Cubans, Bay of Pigs veterans.
Really?
They had been recruited by a guy named E. Howard Hunt, CIA agent who was one of the orchestrators of the Bay of Pigs invasion.
Who was also one of the people that on his deathbed said that he was involved in the assassination of Kennedy.
Yes. So the CIA would come to these Cuban exiles, the militant exiles, and they'd say, go do this operation, go do this burglary at the Watergate, and then we go get Fidel. Go do this assassination, and then we go get Fidel. And the Cubans were always ready and willing.
Because it was all leading back to getting Fidel.
It was all leading back to getting
Did you ever
Fidel.
see the images of what they said was E. Howard Hunt? He was one of the people that was arrested. There was a series of, there was a bunch of guys that were arrested that were on trains. They were calling them hobos, but they were all very well dressed.
Right.
That were near where the grassy knoll was.
The men on the grassy knoll, yeah. Oh, there's lots of rumors about that E. Howard Hunt was one of those men. Yeah. There was even a reference that Jose Miguel Battle was one of those men, but that couldn't have been the case because he was in the Army at the time, the U.S. Army. No, so it's like a subterranean narrative that runs through the latter part of the 20th century. The CIA and right-wing elements in American politics using the Cuban Americans to do all kinds of dirty, covert deeds. And we're talking about terrorist activity, assassination of an ambassador from Chile right in Washington, D.C., blew up his car because he was sympathetic to Castro. A bomb planted on a Cuban jetliner flying from Panama City to Havana. 73 people killed, innocent people, including the fencing team from Cuba, young people. A dirty war. A dirty war was waged by the anti-Castro underground in combination, in partnership with the CIA. And this, we know about it now because a lot of it has been declassified and it's come out. We didn't know about it at the time it was taking place.
Why'd they blow up the plane?
It's just an act of terrorism against Cuba to show them that it could be done, to instill fear and paranoia in the Cuban. The concept was to destabilize the Cuban government so they'd be vulnerable and then you could take them over. Wow. So any act against Cuba, I mean, asking why blowing up the plane is asking like why fly planes into the World Trade Center.
Right.
You know, it was just a destructive act.
It's pretty amazing how resilient Castro was. I mean, unbelievable. The guy's 90 miles away from Miami and just ran shit through the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, into the 2000s.
They say there was something like 632 known plots over the course of 4 or 5 decades to kill Castro.
That's incredible.
632.
That's
incredible.
incredible.
They have a movie, 101 Ways to Kill Fidel.
Yeah.
And he got on a train in New York. And they're like, are you fucking crazy? And they checked to see that he had a bulletproof vest on. And he's like, no. He took the train to the UN.
Wow.
Like, he's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
He was fucking nuts.
So what makes this gangster story of the corporation so interesting and different is this political context, the framework that all this shit was taking place against the backdrop of this desire to kill Castro and take back the homeland. And anyone who was involved in that was seen as a hero within the community. Joey can tell you about that. Union City, New Jersey, and Miami were the hotbeds of the anti-Castro movement. There was an organization in Union City called Omega 7. There was one in Miami called Alpha 66. These were terror organizations, secret organizations that existed to plant bombs. They would plant bombs at embassies in in New York City. They would put bombs at Lincoln Center when an orchestra from Cuba was making an appearance. They were trying to shut down any relationship between the U.S. and Cuba and governments that were sympathetic to Cuba. They would do actions against them, and this went on for like 40 years, man.